What's going on, guys? It's Danny from Slow Restoration, and today we are in the Yukon XL, the Quadrasteer actually, and we have a camera set up. We're going to show you how. First of all, this thing's been doing really good. Just wanted to do kind of an update on it. We're going to show you how the Quadrasteer works. I have a camera set up on the back wheel to see the turning on it and how much it improves turning radius. But zero issues with this thing. It's been very nice to drive around. Scout loves it. He's in the back there now. We're getting ready to run out and get some supplies for the shop, so it's a good time to just do an update video of this. Like I said, the only real improvement we did was we did do this new stereo system, and it has a built-in Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I put a port here. We did a whole video on doing that, but that's worked very, very well also. But yeah, here's the Quadrasteer button. You can change the modes. There's a four-wheel steer trailering mode. You can turn it to two-wheel steer only, and of course four-wheel steer is where we normally drive in. So let's get going. And like I said, I have a camera set up. I don't know if you can see that in the rear view mirror there on the back wheel, and we'll show you how that works as we steer and maneuver through parking lots and such. Normal driving, even on these tight back roads, you don't notice a tremendous difference. You can tell it, you can feel the back end steering around, but it's not really moving that much as you drive. Where it really shines is tight parking lots. But even driving down the road, it does handle, in my opinion, better. It handles like a smaller vehicle. This is the XL, so it's the suburban size. And it's very long, and there's no way I could fit in some of the tight spots without the four-wheel steer. So get up to the red light and do kind of a 90-degree turn here and just show you. It turns extremely fast. Was nowhere near full lock. So like I said, we have the camera set up on the back, and hopefully we can get some good footage with the rear wheel steering left and right as we go, but we'll have to see how that turns out. This thing's all stock, so it's not like it's loud or anything. We're not going to get any exhaust notes or anything, but it is neat. It's a very neat feature. I am gonna, at some point in this drive, activate the four-wheel trailering and see what that does. I'm not 100% sure. I should research that, but I always use it in four-wheel steer and not so much trailering. I'm guessing it's gonna make it easier for you to back a trailer up. I don't know, maybe it turns the wheels the opposite way that it does. That would be kind of neat. I don't know if it does that or not, but if it turns the wheels the same way as the front wheels, then it would maneuver quite a bit different and maybe help for trailering options too. And we can get Scout out of the way. Just switched it into the trailering mode here, and we are on this windy back road. So let's see, handling wise, I so far don't really, I guess it might be a little different. Trying to not swerve too much. It definitely feels different. I don't really know what it's doing. Hopefully we'll be able to see that in that rear camera as we play it back, but it's neat that they have at least the option to turn it off. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like the four-wheel steer, I don't know why that would be, but if you don't like the four-wheel steer, then you have the option of turning it off altogether, just making it a normal two-wheel steer, front steer vehicle. And then the two other modes also. So I haven't towed a trailer with this. I'm planning at some point to maybe try and tow. I'm sure it'll do fine. It is a 2500, but more to see how the Quadrasteer works with towing a trailer. But can't really do a Yukon update without doing a Scout update. As you can see, he's getting way bigger. I think he's about ready to turn 10 months, and he's doing really good. He is in his chewing mode now though, so you definitely got to keep an eye on him. But overall, he's a good puppy. He's smart. He knows a bunch of tricks already. Coming up on some spots, you might recognize that on the road. That's where we were doing some testing on the Turbo GMC. And yeah, striped up the road's pretty good. It is a two-wheel drive Yukon XL with Quadrasteer, and it's fully loaded with the Bose system and leather and rear entertainment, stuff like that. So I don't know, it's probably a rare optioned vehicle for sure. I like it, and we plan on keeping it for a while, so it is what it is. Scout, he likes it. I did a little bit of research actually real quick, and it seems like when you switch it into four-wheel steer towing option, it just somehow they feel like it makes it more stable as you tow with whatever this thing does. I guess it can, I don't know, maybe counteract fishtail or something like that, but that's what they advertise it at. So I was kind of hoping the wheels would turn the same way as you're backing it up to make the trailering easier, but it doesn't appear that's the case. It just makes it more stable at speeds. So I don't know. Like I said, I rarely use that. I always have it in four-wheel steer. Got back home here in the Yukon. We'll do a quick walk around here. Like I said, it is an XL, so it is the extended version. Here's the badge for the Quadrasteer. It's probably, it's a big giveaway, obviously. But at first glance, you can tell this is a Quadrasteer vehicle because it's got the wider rear fender flare. That whole assembly back there makes these things wider. So the track is, I don't know if it's wider than the front and the back, but it's at least as wide. Typically these GMs, the front has a wider track than the back. With the Quadrasteer and that whole system, it pushes everything out a little bit, so they put the wider flare on, and they also, well, as you turn too, it covers that wheel up a little bit more. They're so wide, in fact, that GM had to put marker lights. So there's the amber one there and the red one there, and that's because of the width. I guess once you go over a certain width, the four Raptors are the same way. So you get the wider flare, you get the marker lights, you get the clearance light back here. Above that third brake light is a clearance light, and you also get marker lights on the cab, which I don't particularly like, but they're on there, so we're not taking them off. We like I said, when we first got this, we do have some plans to kind of modernize this a little bit, and I do want to get some smoked cab lights. I just haven't found the ones I'm looking for yet, and we've got a lot of other stuff going on, and this has given us zero issues, so we've just been driving it and enjoying it. So pretty much we'll take a peek under here in case you didn't see the last video, and I'll show you. Last video, it's a little bit more in depth. I actually had it on the lift, but You can see the rear steering knuckle there and the axle, and there's the actuator and the electrical part of it. So it's a pretty beefy setup under there. Right, Scout? Well, hopefully we got some good footage on the GoPro of the rear wheels in action. And Scout just can't be ignored. He's a very vocal puppy. And he's afraid of the camera for some reason. He's a very scared, skittish dog. And the camera is no exception. He's just afraid of it. Checking the air pressure in the Yukon's tires because we have to haul something, and since we just shot the first part of the video, no better time than now to test this thing out hauling. And we're gonna check the air pressure, get hooked up to the trailer. I've never had a trailer hooked up to this yet, so it'll be the first time. We'll get it hooked up, make sure the lights and stuff work. I don't see why they wouldn't, but let's get it hooked up and we'll get headed down the road. One nice thing about the Yukon, we do have the backup camera, so we can kind of get lined up here. We're probably a little off, but we still got to throw the hitch in first. We got it all hooked up here. We got our safety pin in, latch is done. We got our chains crossed, chains hooked up, jacks up, wires are plugged in. We do have lights. Let's walk around the back side of this trailer. Make sure we have tail lights. Yep, yes. Tag light, marker lights, they're all working. Now, one last thing, we're gonna pull up and back up to the garage and just check air pressure in the trailer tires, and then we'll be ready to head off. We're underway in the Yukon, got the trailer hooked up.
Welcome to Maryland.
We just hit Maryland. I was gonna put a GoPro on the outside, but since it's raining, it would just clog up. You wouldn't be able to see anything in like 2 seconds. So unfortunately, it's also gonna get dark on us, so we'll do what filming we can. So far, it's doing really well. Brake controller works, lights work, everything's as it should. Looks like we got about an hour and 10 minutes, and we'll see how it does with a load on it anyway. A little ways into the trip, we're cruising at 68, 69 mile an hour, just cruising along. It's doing really well. It's definitely not my truck. It doesn't have the power of that turbo, but it's doing good. And it's very, very quiet, which I'm not used to. The truck is stupidly loud. So let's keep going. We'll get this truck loaded up. We're picking up a full-size 2500 HD, so it'll be interesting to see how it tows it home. Got it all loaded up. Of course, it is raining. It's just slowed down. It was pouring the rain loading it, of course, but truck's all loaded up. It's a pretty decent truck. Light front end collision and no motor, but transmission, the rest of the drivetrain's there, and the body, except for the front end damage, is actually pretty nice. So let's see how this thing tows home with a full-size pickup on it. I think it'll do all right. All right, so we got back home. Obviously, this is the next day. We got the truck delivered. Everything went perfectly smooth. Today's actually a nicer day. We're driving around again the Yukon. This is actually the start of another video, so definitely check it out. You're not going to want to miss that. And the Yukon did actually amazing. It really surprised me. Did way better than I thought it was going to. Obviously, it doesn't have a ton of power. My truck definitely has more power with the turbo, but this Yukon still did really well. Power wise, it was able to do it, keep up with traffic, everything like that, and honestly, it rode amazing. I've never trailered anything. The last thing I trailered, we used to have a Tahoe, a half-ton Tahoe, and it didn't trailer very well at all. I mean, it did the job, but this thing trailers amazing, hauls amazing. Honestly, it probably tows a little bit nicer than my truck as far as ride quality. My truck's a little bit stiffer, Of course, it does have the 6-inch lift with the trailer on. Not that my truck doesn't tow nice, but this thing tows like really nice. It's very quiet. Maybe that's the biggest difference. Maybe because this is stock, it's quiet and it just seems smoother, but it did extremely well. I'm very proud of the Yukon. It did exactly what we needed it to do, and did it safely and efficiently. So as far as the Quadrasteer goes, it's actually, I didn't think it could get any better as far as the Quadrasteer goes, like driving around in tight parking spots and stuff, but trailering with the Quadrasteer is honestly that much nicer. It really makes towing a trailer a lot easier. Again, tight turns. The back end of the Yukon pushes the trailer right around, right where it needs to be. So like anyone who's towed a trailer with a longer vehicle knows you really got to cut right-hand turns pretty wide, and this with the Quadrasteer, like I said, makes that so much nicer and easier. But anyway, Yukon's a winner. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day. Alright guys, we're just pulling up here and there it is. Just getting ready to pull the cap off of it, but there's the new Turbo GMC build.